Can you see the new design client?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, now what we have done here that we have sorting by name, and we have filter by tags here. We have searching by exact name of package and the version of package. Okay, this is for the packages dashboard, and we have create package feature too, and we have pagination if we have more than five packages. Okay, so we will now discover the create package. The create package, we are working in the first tab. We have designer mode and scripting mode. So we'll choose this designer mode.
Shaban, can we make the designer mode as default option?
Default mode means it is designer mode. Yeah.
The radio button selected for mode should be designer as default.
Okay. We have validation here too. If there are any packages that have the same name and the same version, it will give the error message here. I have just a problem here that I should make the request that has not caching the oldest site. So this is the package that we created, CPA Orange, and maybe we can check if they are when we are creating another package and have the same name.
Sorry for interruption. Currently, we are working the first tab, which is the metadata, is created successfully. We are working now on the import, but it's not ready yet to be shown. And we will continue the tabs for package creation. So this is the import, but it's not ready yet for to be shown in the demo.
Very good.
Okay, you want to switch to next step? Okay.
Designer bar.
Okay, we will discover designer.
The designer should be part of the package viewing and the package editing, but because they are not yet ready, that's why we are accessing the designer from URL. As you can see here, you can insert a custom action, the action which is a workflow in the Tosca terminology. So this is the action. You can create custom action. You can drag the functions into the action. So you also can create another action. You can create multiple actions. I think maybe you can try to create another action. Yes. Okay, so resizing the elements is not yet done, but this is the main idea. The next point in the designer is to have the attributes right side menu appear when clicking on items, but this is not ready yet. Also, we need to connect the functions into action into the same action, we connect them by
arrows.
you drew the connection. Yes, arrows. Draw the connection between the functions into the same action. So that's it.
It's looking good. Any questions, team?
This is perfect.
I have.
And yeah, only thing is, one question I have there. How the function is a dynamic one, or it's like a hard-coded one on the left-hand side down?
Okay, we retrieve them from the server, but what you are seeing now is not retrieved from the server, but it should be retrieved from the server.
Exactly.
And we have the same API. We have the API that retrieve the function from the server.
So it means like from that node type, it is trying to select the node types, right? That's the assumption I'm trying to look into.
Yes.
And one more, other than that, just I'm trying to look into that usability perspective. How we are going to share that node template?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay. Say for an example, DNF device, or assume that it's like a netconf executor or any other executor that or you are having that. So that should share between or resource resolution. Assume that you have a resource resolution component defined.
Okay.
And if I want to share actions for activate VNF and other for activate VNFC. So in that case, I want to use that resource resolution component, which assume that it is a common for both. So in that case, how the usability, how we are trying to present in that UI. That's the only point that I have.
You can drag the same function into multiple actions. So, or you mean the same instance with the same configuration. We don't have having the same component resource resolution, for example, to be shared between actions, but you can drag it twice. That means you will have
exactly. It's just a matter of asking that how. So it means like it is trying to create two different node templates, or it's like
yes.
one. Okay. So always you go with two different. So it means like we are not going to the assumption. It's like we are not going to share node templates between actions, right?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe I'm fine. Okay. Either you can reuse the same thing across multiple actions, or you can regenerate the same. Since we are providing a UI, not an issue. But if you are trying to do it in a DSL, or if you are trying to do it in a manual way of creating that, we can also reuse that same components across multiple actions. Yeah.
Okay. I think later on we can have actions. We can have just 1 second, please.
Okay. And I'm fine with that. Okay. So another question is how you are going to represent that capabilities and the requirements. Whether you have a plan to denote the capabilities and requirements or associate with that particular node template, or how it's like a generic property panel which will show on selecting the particular node template.
You're describing the right-hand column. When you click on the node template, it will give you the capabilities and requirements, and you can also view them in the source view as well.
Exactly. Okay. So one point that I'm trying to it's like visibility perspective. If we have a 2 or 3 capabilities, it's like a denote with the 2 or 3 marks on the node itself. Okay, we have a execute, right? So we have a execute. If it has a capability, then you can mark with the small dots or 4 dots. If you have a 4 dots, so that it's like it can easily give that representation of. Okay, and so that later point of time we can link with that other node from capability to requirements just by referencing. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, Brenda. This is something that we have also captured in the design. Is that the linkage will be based on dots, and what we're saying that it will be different colors as well, right? Each requirement capability will have the different colors, and the same colors can be connected. together.
Or the thing is, you can have the requirements group to one color and then capabilities group to other color. So it doesn't matter. So only thing is like how many capabilities that we have just by looking at node itself, we can see that. We should understand that. Okay, that's the only thing, and it is not urgent or immediate. Okay, just I'm trying to see that in order to, in terms of visibility or in terms of usability perspective, understanding that particular node.
Yeah, I think we'll get there, but we have that in mind as well. That's correct.
That's all I think. And one more thing, that version, just I'm trying to look into that version. So okay, how we can manage, because it's the right time to discuss now itself. Whether we want to discuss that version with respect to that release package, or we can go with the individual one. What I'm trying to say that, why I'm raising that question, it's all the components are associated with that packages, release versions. Okay, so most probably if you are trying to release for Frankfurt, then it's like all the components that we are trying to use, and all the models inside that, and all the model representation we are trying to use associated with the Frankfurt version. So in that case, if you try to match that version with the CBA version, then we don't hit any other issues. So it means like always we will have that Frankfurt version of the CBA, so that it can, say for an example, we want to execute a older version of that or LAlto, then we will come to know that from that package itself, it is a LAlto package, so that it can go very hand in hand with the functions of the LAlto. So in that way, I believe somewhere that we can, how we can map the release version to that CBA version, so that we don't want to increment that CBA versions randomly, and then we don't want to get into a confusion of whether 1.0 version will go with LAlto or 1.0 version will go to Frankfurt. So in that case, if we have a easy mapping and then same mapping with the release version, I think the number of packages also, it will be very less, and then it is easy to map also. So what do you guys think about that?
Brenda, where do you capture the release version itself?
Yeah,
where do you
exactly.
Capture the release?
Frankfurt, say for an example, the components, all the components we are capturing in a POM, right? In that POM, we are capturing that version of that, whether it is LAlto or, and we are going to release that CBA, and we are going to do the migrations, all those stuff with respect to the release, because it associates with the component, right? The backend implementation. So that is the reason I'm trying to say that, okay, so how are, it's like, is that generic release, which release that we are working on that, so that in that case, it will pick up the version automatically. So that now even you can override that existing version, because the component behaves with respect to single versions of whether based on the release. So in that case, always we will have the package with that matching to the version. I think you guys are able to understand what I'm trying to say, or I want to still.
Sebastian, does this resonate with you?
No, I didn't follow. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, Brenda, why don't we, this release and version, why don't we take that as a separate discussion?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any questions on the UI? If not, let me